David Baye here from MuscularDevelopment.com. We are in Melbourne for the 2014 Australian Grand Prix, hanging out at the FitX Expo, one of the biggest expos in bodybuilding. I'm here with somebody you guys know very well, IFBB Pro Branden Ray. Branden, first off, tell you about your trip down to Australia. How you been enjoying it so far?
Trip down to Australia was incredible, man. I got to LAX. I live in LA, and everybody was on the plane. I saw some of your pictures. You took some good paparazzi pics. But, you know, I was sitting, Dana Lynn and her husband was sitting in the front row of my section, and Evan was sitting behind them, and, you know, it was pretty cool. I don't know why, but Evan and I, we were, like, synchronized. Every time I got up to the bathroom, he was waiting in line in front of me, so.
Stalking him a little bit?
Maybe, I don't know, but we were just in synergy, I guess, so.
It wasn't too bad for a 16-hour flight. Now, that was the longest I've ever been on a plane. I was real worried about it. Talk to us as far as, like, your prep. Did you have all your meals and everything? I know you're not dieting directly for a competition. Is that something you still take care of when you're traveling?
To me, there's no such thing as all season, and I stay pretty lean all season, but I've been able to still make improvements and put on the size that I need. That's because I'm prepared. That's one of the things I learned from my first coach, Don Long, was to always be prepared, never leave any stones unturned. So I had my meals. I watched The Godfather 1 and 2 during that 15-hour flight. Took a little nap, but I made sure I ate my meals on time, and, you know, I was prepared.
Now, talking about your off-season, we know you did the New York Pro last year, got 7th in the 212. You're in a similar spot as some of the other guys that are doing the 212, where it's a great division, but you're having a hard time pulling down the 212. Now, we were at Doherty's gym yesterday training, awesome gym down here, and I talked to you a little bit, thinking about making the move to the open division. Tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. You know, I turned pro, and a lot of us guys, you know, still relatively young. You know, you're around 30 years old, and you turn pro as a light heavyweight at 198. You know, in order to make improvements, you're going to gain size. So I don't want to slow down anything. And for a while, I kind of capped off my all season, so I'll grow to 212. Last year, I had some trouble making the weight at 212, and I worked with Noel Fuller. And I looked my best when I was just over 220, but, you know, we had to keep sucking down, so, you know, it wasn't his fault at all. But we had to, you know, like 4 days out, actually when I got to New York, where I'm from, I stepped on the scale and I was still like 223. So, you know, we had to suck down a lot, and, you know, my condition is one of the things that I've always needed to improve on. I thank you guys for, you know, staying in my ear and staying me on about that. I want to nail that. So you just want to look the best that you can, and when there's that number that you still have to hit, sometimes it's kind of hard. You can sacrifice some conditioning, you can sacrifice a lot of fullness. So I'm kind of like, you know, take some time, grow, and let's see what happens. I want to be the best I can be on stage condition-wise.
Now, you are still relatively young as far as IFBB Pros is concerned. Do you have something in mind coming up as far as a contest that you'd like to make your debut in the open division, or is it kind of play it by ear and see how your gains come along?
I'm seeing how my gains come along. Of course, you know, you get the bug, and when you see shows, you know, you see the Arnold. And
what's the bug? What are you thinking? What are you thinking?
You know, oh man, I saw it, like, I see my boy Sean Roden, we were training partners, and I see him on stage. I saw how he improved, and I saw Cedric. I was very happy for him, and, you know, guys like Dennis Wolf, you know, sometimes, you know, people count you out, and they haven't seen your best yet. So that motivates me. Like, I still haven't brought my best, and when you're making gains, you want to see yourself on stage. I saw a show in California later on this year that looked pretty tempting, but that's all I can say. But
that's all you can say. Well, there's a couple shows coming up. I know there's that the Lou Ferrigno Classics in the end of November. Is it going to be that one? Otherwise, word on the street is that Hadi Rambod might be promoting a show out there this summer. So I suppose we'll leave it up in the air as far as which California show it is. He's not gonna give us the inside track. But
not just yet. It could be sooner. But like I said, there was, you know, maybe a show in California that looked pretty interesting to me. But, you know, I post a lot of my pictures and a lot of my training videos on my Instagram, which is Branden, B-R-A-N-D-E-N, M-R-A-Y, B-R-A-N-D-E-N-M-R-A-Y. So you can see what I'm doing this all season and training, my training philosophy. And I follow you on the forums, man. You know, you're straightforward, and, you know, you give your opinion, and I like that, man. You know, a lot of times what I've learned in this sport, I turned pro and I've been doing it for a little while, I started young, was that you have to be humble enough to accept critique, and you have to be disciplined enough to take that critique, acknowledge which critiques are honest, and then be willing to make the improvements. I never hang my head. I love going to the gym just like I did when I was 18 years old. You know, I love it just as much, 12, 13 years later. So you can only get better when you go to the gym. I'm looking forward to bringing something good on stage, even better, and just having fun.
All right, man. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to let you get going. We're hanging out again with Branden Ray. He's at his sponsored International Protein booth. So we're going to wrap things up. Again, let him get back to what we're doing, and we're going to run around and get a few more interviews here. Check out the expo. So for musculardevelopment.com, this is David Baye with Branden Ray at the 2014 Australian Grand Prix.
And I just want to say thank you to all of you out there for all your support all of the years. I can't thank you guys enough, man. I love the sport just like you do. Just because I have an IFBB Pro card doesn't mean anything. We're all in the same game. We all want to be better, so thank you.
All right. We're out, guys.